press the wrong. Right, there we go. Okay, welcome. Happy Wednesday, guys. Lovely to see you. So we're going to begin lying down. We're working on our hips this morning. It's a length session. So we alternate between length and strength in our practices in the morning. So yesterday was strength, so we're on to length today. So come to lie back. Head towards the back of the mat, feet towards the front. And you have the option to take the heels wide with the toes just dropping out. And I'd say your heels are a little bit wider than hip width, maybe as wide as your mat. Or if you want a little bit more, you can bring the soles of the feet to the floor and let the knees drop out and start off with a diamond shape to the legs. Now that might be a little bit intense first thing in the morning, so I'll leave it to you. The heels of your diamond shape can move closer towards you, further away from you. You can even place some support either side of your thighs with a brick or some cushions. So yeah, yogi's choice. You decide how you're starting this morning. And then just take a moment to settle. So shuffle around, maybe bring the shoulder blades a little bit down towards the waist so that you've got some nice breadth across the front of the chest. Hands can rest on the belly or out beside you again. I'll leave that decision to you. Just notice what feels good for your body this morning. And then wherever you are, let's just take a nice gentle exhale through the mouth. And we'll breathe in through the nose. And take a nice breath out through the mouth. So a couple of sighing breaths. Let's do 2 more. Big breath in. And then really just let it go. 1 more. Big breath in. And then just let it go. Good. If you need a couple more, guys, you go ahead and take them. But just allow yourself to be heavy. Allow yourself to ease down. So try to soften and just relax. Maybe think about the forehead, the skin around the eyes, the jaw, tops of the shoulders, heaviness to the pelvis, the lower half of you. Just really allowing the ground to hold you. Try to surrender your entire weight. Let's just notice and check in with how we're feeling this morning. How are you right now in this moment? And remember, there's no correct way to do this little check-in. Just about listening. Being aware of whatever's coming up for you this morning. Might be how your energy levels are. Might be some niggles in the physical body. Might be a long to-do list, so a busy mind. Just being completely aware. With the knowledge that you're exactly where you need to be, you've showed up to do your practice. Carved out this time. So let's really commit to the next part of our morning to move our bodies in ways that feel good, to try and be with our breath. If you haven't already, let's find that breath now. So a nice long exhale through the nose. Then breathe in for a count of 1, 2, 3. Breathing out for 3, 2, 1. Keeping that up, guys. Deep, rich breaths in through the nose. And long, slow, steady breaths out through the nose. And with each round of breath, you're just trying to get it a little bit smoother, a little bit deeper. We're looking for a nice even breath, so an even count of 3 in and an even count of 3 out. So we've got a nice balance to the breath. You might notice some little pauses at the top and the bottom of each breath. But if you can, try to just flow into the next round, just so you've got this lovely seamless flow of air, completely under your control, yeah? And just follow the journey of your breath. That'll really allow you to get out of the head and more into the physical body. When you're ready, on your next inhale, just start to either bring the knees towards one another. That should feel pretty nice as a relief. Or if your legs were just extended, just bring the heels in. And we're going to lift the feet off the floor and just give the knees a little hug into the chest. And then we'll just move around here a little bit. So firstly, let's just kick the heels up to the sky and extend the legs. Only if that feels good. If that feels a little bit difficult, just soften the knees. And we're just going to move into the feet. So toes and ankles and all parts of your feet. So you might want to point and flex, might want to swish, might want to rotate. Meanwhile, you're scrunching and maybe spreading the toes. I was saying this yesterday, but I listened to a podcast the other day and it was talking about being barefoot and how much it helps us to use the muscles in our feet. So it's really good that you're barefoot for your yoga practice. You're getting some time in using your feet a little bit more than when we kind of pack them into shoes. Great. Okay, let's move to the knees. Bending and extending through the knees. Maybe one at a time. Maybe both together, I don't mind. It's a nice simple joint, a hinge joint. So try and think about the heels kicking the butt and then the heels driving up to the ceiling. Good. And then when you've had enough of those, just let's move to the next joint, into the hip. So this is a different joint entirely. It can move in all directions. So you might want to do one knee at a time, or you might be doing them together. Changing directions, and maybe just keeping the eyes closed and trying to send your attention to the top of each thigh bone and how it sits in the pelvis. Can you maybe visualize that? Good. You can go for a little cycle as well, maybe. Swimming legs, cycling legs. And then we'll come into a happy baby when you feel ready. So you're grabbing hold of either the backs of the knees, the calves, the ankles, or somewhere on the feet. And your spine is still nice and long. So think about the tailbone lengthening. Try and keep the shoulders grounded. So the whole of your spine is still on the earth. And you're just pulling the thigh bones down either side of the torso. And you can move around here if you want, or you can stay still. And if you think of, it's called happy baby. So if you kind of imagine a baby when they're like on a changing mat, you know, their legs, their knees are by their shoulders, their feet are near their mouth probably. So that's what we're trying to emulate, going back to those days. Good. And then we'll come up to seated. So you have the option to rock and roll, or you can just push yourself through a sideways motion. If you manage to roll all the way up, you might even want to hover at the top. So maybe you're still got hold of something, or even just lifting the feet with the ankles crossed. We're here for 3. Really lift through the chest for 2. Good, on 1. See if you can control the cross of the ankles and come to sit. Good, so crossing at the ankles, sitting nice and tall. Maybe you're on a brick just to help the hips. Good, give yourself a nice shoulder roll and just sit tall. We'll just take a nice little side stretch here. So reach the arms up nice and high, grab hold of your right wrist and let's go over to the left. Remember, you can stay here or you can float the bottom hand down if you want to move the top fingers, wrist, elbow, just like we did with the legs. We're all the time kind of focusing on this nice side stretch. Good. Inhale back to center and exhale over to the other side. Good. Try to relax that top shoulder. And remember, moving that arm if you want to. Great. Back to center when you're ready. Maybe a couple of shoulder rolls. And then we'll move into tabletop. So come forward into an all fours position. Great. So same thing as always, a little bit of movement through the spine this morning. So some swishing from side to side maybe, and some cats and cows. So remember what you know here, what feels good for your spine. And we're all going to feel different in the morning, so just go gently, yeah? And if it's too much in tabletop, you can just do it from kneeling or sitting, do some circles, yeah? Some forward and backwards motions. So see how you get on this morning. And then when you feel ready, we'll start to press through the hands and just hover the right knee off the floor and start to do those circles again with the hip. You might be able to go or explore the range of movement a little bit more. So just see how that feels. Try to isolate the hip joint so that we're not moving the rest of the body. It's just that right thigh bone that's moving around. Good, and then when you feel ready, let's just hold and kick the leg back a little. So the knee's soft, we're just lifting the knee back behind the hip, building a little bit of warmth and strength into the muscles. Great, now we're just going to take that out to the side, so knee out to the side, almost like we're trying to tap the shoulder, shin is in line with the long edge of the mat. Again, we're just holding and squeezing for 5, 4, 3, 2, good, on 1. See if you can step the right foot towards the outside of the right hand. Nice. Okay, so a little bit of settling here. We're going to hold, but before we do, you might want to just rock forwards and backwards a little bit. Remember, if the floor feels really far away, the bricks or something that resembles a brick is there. You can change the height of those bricks as well, remember. Nice, and then as best as you can, just stay forward. So easing down into your lizard, but this is like a winged version. So that thigh bone's really winging out to the side and we're on the blade edge of the right foot. Good. So we've got a nice stretch on the inner right thigh. And that right hand can lift up and you can kind of use it just to tease yourself round a little bit, which is quite nice. Stretch through the shoulders and chest as well. Great, when you're ready, come back to center. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. See if you can take a big step into a squat at the top of the mat. So your left foot is going to match your right foot. So the toes are at about 10 and 2 o'clock, and you can go as wide as you need to here, and we're just going to bounce a little bit here. So lifting the hips and sinking the hips, and try and think of the torso as a little bit of a counterbalance. So it's almost like you're like a bit of a pendulum or something that's kind of swinging to help the hips lift and lower. So think about the sit bones coming down and then the sit bones coming up. Yeah? So that we're using the strength of our legs and hip joints rather than just kind of sinking into a yogi squat without much strength behind it, yeah? Doesn't matter how wide your toes are. You might find that your heels are lifted a little bit. That's okay too. I just want you to focus on a long spine. Yeah, so tailbone down, shoulders soft. Because you can also use a brick to help you out with your positioning if you need to. Just place it underneath your sit bones. Good. And then we'll walk our feet back. We'll send our hips to the sky first and just maybe extend the legs. Enjoy that for a moment, maybe swish and sway. And then we're either meeting in a downward dog or back in tabletop. So yogi's choice. If you want to take a little vinyasa to get there, you can. So toes can step all the way back to your plank. You can lower your knees, your belly to the floor. And you can meet us either back in tabletop, or if you want to take a little downward dog before we do the left side, you can. Again, yogi's choice. So either in a downward dog, or we're just in our tabletop again. Moving around. Or even a little rest in child's pose is also absolutely fine. Great. Okay, whenever you're ready, let's drop the knees from downward dog or lift back up into tabletop. And we'll just move into that lizard now on the left side. So hover the left knee off the floor and start to move it around. Yeah? Just be mindful, the two hips will feel different. So be aware of that difference. Notice. And then we can work to try and balance out the body. So if we know that the left is a little bit tighter, this is fine. We've just got to be a bit more aware of it, and we've just got to work a little bit more on that side. Okay, so when we're ready, let's hold the knee back in line with the hip. Again, try to be in center. It's easy to want to lean to the right. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, good. On 1, swing that knee round to the side. So it's out beside you, knee in line with hip, shin along the long edge of the mat for 5. Again, try not to lean to the right for 4. Push the floor away through the hands for 3, for 2. Good, then bring the knee towards the shoulder and step the left foot outside the left hand. Great, same thing, a little bit of rocking and rolling, yeah? Leaning forwards and leaning backwards. Great. And then same thing, when you feel ready, let's just stay forward. Resting down on the hands, maybe dropping a little bit lower onto bricks or forearms. But again, using that left hand just to wing out the thigh bone. Teasing that knee a little bit wider. Feeling a nice stretch on the inner thigh. Checking in with the breath for 3, for 2. Good, slowly come back up. Same thing, we're going to meet in a yogi squat at the top of the mat. So big push off through the toes and we'll land in our yogi squat. Good, okay, so best thing to do is just do some little pulses now. So lifting and lowering. If that feels okay, you can obviously just hang out in your yogi squat. You can come into a dangle. But if we're feeling all right in our yogi squat, let's see if we can push up through the heels, lift and squeeze the hips forward, switch on the glutes, and then smoothly come back down. With the breath, if you can, inhale, reaching up, exhale, coming back down. And with the hands, you can kind of interlace the fingers, push them away on the inhale, and then bring the hands maybe into a prayer through heart center on the exhale. I think this feels really nice. Breathing in and breathing out. Just take about 3 more. Oh, nice. Good, then next time you're up, we'll stay up. So take that inhale up as your last one. And then exhale, let's come to stand at the top of the mat. Great, little roll of the shoulders, kick out of the legs. Okay, so we'll step back with our right foot. So just stepping out wide with the right foot. Turn the right toes to the back, keep the left toes to the long edge, and we'll bend into that right knee and we'll extend. Good, so bending into the right knee and coming back out. Nice, let's get the arms involved. So inhale, reaching up. As you extend, and exhale, rebending and reaching out. So right toes are pointing to the short edge, left toes are pointing to the long edge, warrior 2. Great, when you feel ready, let's hold. So big deep bend in the right knee, reaching the arms, relaxing the shoulders, and really trying to tease this knee out to the baby toe. So we're trying to open the hips here by showing our hips to the long edge of the mat. Good, we're here for another 3 breaths. Maybe gazing over that right hand. Good, last breath. See if you can sink a little bit deeper. Good, on your inhale, just extend the right leg, bring the hands to the hips and turn the right toes in. So both toes now are facing the long edge of the mat. Take a little inhale, roll the shoulders, lengthen, and then exhale, maybe with soft knees, just see if you can come forward. Fingertips to the floor, or maybe to your brick. So, doesn't matter how low we're going, it's just how we're feeling here. We want to start to feel the hamstrings, maybe the top, right at the top of the hamstrings, so the base of the glutes. And think about almost leaning forward, think about tilting the sit bones high. You can sway a little if you want, the knees can be soft. Take a couple more breaths here. Nice, when you're ready, inhale, come up to halfway. Exhale, bring the hands to the hips and just bend the knees and slowly push yourself up nice and strong. Good, relax the shoulders. Let's turn the left toes out and we'll do a few bounces there with the knee first of all. Good. So the toes are pointing to the short edge on the left foot now and the long edge on the right foot. Great, when you're ready, get the arms involved. Inhale up, exhale down. Good. So inhale, extend the leg, reach the arms. Exhale, bend the leg, float the arms down. Good, when you're ready, we're just going to pause, okay? So deep bend in the left knee, Nice and long in the tailbone. Relax the shoulders, reach the fingertips. Maybe gaze over your left hand. I'm almost trying to create like a little seat for someone with this thigh. That's how low we're going. We're here for 3. We're here for 2. Keep teasing that knee out to baby toe. Good, on 1, extend the leg, bring the hands to the hips. So we're now going to turn the toes to the corners of the mat. So think about 10 and 2 o'clock, yeah? And we're just going to start to move from side to side. So nice and steadily, try and think of the toes tracking the knees, or the knees tracking the toes, I should say. Good, and just notice how that feels. Now, if you want, you can come a little bit lower. I have to go quite wide to get low, so just see how you feel. If you want to come a little bit lower, you can. But just go to your range, yeah? It's a journey. You'll get lower over time. So we don't want to compromise the positioning of the spine. So if we are coming down, it's the strong leg pushing us back up. The spine doesn't really shift. There might be a little lean forward, but we're still long in the spine. Good, just take a few more rounds of breath here, just shifting the weight from side to side. You might use the heels to help you go a little bit lower on the straight leg. Good, and then come back to center, give yourself a little break, and then we're going to hold our goddess pose for about a minute. Take it, I never know whether to tell you the time. Inhale, lift up and lengthen, and then exhale, we're just going to sit down in an imaginary chair. So we're like in a squat position, yeah? So relax the shoulders, roll them back and down, and go as low as you can. Remember, we're here for a minute though, we've already started. Relax the shoulders, feel the legs working, feel that stretch through the inner thighs. So we're teasing the knees out to the baby toes. Hands can be in prayer at heart center or on the hips, whatever feels good, or halfway. So if you've got 30 more seconds, if you want a little bit more, you can add a pulse, yeah? Or maybe you're lifting your heels and coming onto the toes, back to our foot strength stuff, yeah? So just yogi's choice, or we're just here for 15 more seconds. We got it. Stay calm. Close the eyes and breathe. Last 10, 9, 8. Can you sink a little bit lower? 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Good. On 1, push through the heels. Oh, enjoy that release. Well done. It'll move around if we need. And then heels out, toes in. Bring the hands to the floor again. And we'll just take a nice little dangle here. So catch the elbows and just move around from side to side. Good. If you want, you can pause and just hold another forward fold here. Good. Really nice, guys. So we're going to actually finish standing today. We're going to have a little balance. So next month our flow theme is going to be balancing. So let's try and get a little bit started already towards the end of the month. So just roll up through the spine, heel toe the feet together. And you want your feet hip width, nice and heavy in the heels, long through the tailbone. Relax the shoulders. And with balance, it's always good to just find a little spot in front of you. Focus your gaze on that. About 1 meter in front of you. And then when you're ready, just lift the right heel, and you're either going to place the heel above the ankle, the sole of the foot on the inner thigh, or the inner calf. So obviously the higher up the leg you go, the more tricky it is. So option 1, toes on the ground, heel above ankle bone. Option 2, foot off the ground, onto the calf. Option 3, missing the knee, coming to the inner thigh. So this is tree pose, and you'll see we're opening up the hip here, as well as taking a little balance. Hands can be at heart center, and you're just taking a moment here to breathe, to find stillness. Don't worry if we're wobbling, wobbles are good. Using those foot muscles. And also life is wobbly, it's fine. Couple more breaths here. Good, see if you can come out with control. So just bring the knee forward and then release. Remember guys, if you've got a wall near you, or a chair, just grab hold of that, yeah? Right, other side, same thing. Try and put this foot in the same position on both sides, yeah? Remember, we're trying to even ourselves out as best we can. So heel above the ankle, foot to the calf, or foot to the inner thigh. Once you do get to the thigh, my tip is, as much as your foot is pressing into your thigh, press your thigh into your foot. So there's this like equal pushing, which is a little bit harder to do with the calf, I find. So roll the shoulders, stand tall. A few more breaths here, wherever you are. Sometimes we can get a little bit critical as well with our balance, especially if we're just having a wobbly day. It's fine. Takes practice, takes time. Breathing for 3, for 2. Well done, guys. On 1, knee forward and release. Full body stretch. By all means, guys, if you want to sit back down, you can, but we're going to finish here. So maybe we're standing as we finish today. So just take a moment, maybe close the eyes. Hands rest down beside you. And as you stand there with the eyes closed, just take in how you're feeling. Notice and observe. Maybe the mind's a little bit calmer. Maybe you're feeling a little bit better in the physical body. Wishing you all a wonderful Wednesday ahead. Think about how you're going to go into your morning now. Thoughts become words, words become actions, actions become your character. So go gently with positive, kind, and thoughts of gratitude. Have a good one, guys. Happy Wednesday. And I'll see you tomorrow for strength. Lovely.
Thanks, Vicky. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks, Jean.
Thank you.
Cheers, Pam. Thanks. Thanks, Lana. Thanks, Eva, Flora.
Thanks, Vicky.
No worries. Take care.